Hi everyone, so today I wanted to do a first impression kind of walkthrough demo of the new L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Foundation. It looks like this, and it is supposed to be, according to the packaging, a full coverage weightless feel, and it's in a 1 ounce bottle. Pretty standard with most foundations. It claims to be up to 24-hour wear. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. And it's also supposed to be, this is all in the back here, a little chart. It says it's a high coverage, air light texture with a natural finish. So basically it's not going to be matte as far as if you have oily skin and you like that really matted kind of China doll finish. It's not necessarily glowy, dewy, so it's not going to have an additional extra shine to it, but it is going to be natural. So what I would think is that throughout the day your oils are going to come to the surface. It's not going to do so much for controlling the oils. That could go both ways. If you are very dry to dry, you may be able to kind of get away with this foundation, but you would probably want to prime really well and moisturize. And if you're very, very oily, again, you want to prime for oil and probably set your face with powder to lock it in. I happen to be right in the middle. I have sensitive skin in some areas and dry where you can see my redness, but I do have a very oily T-zone. So I'm going to use a radiant primer today and probably a really good setting powder and see just kind of how it goes. I mean, you can try the foundation completely alone with nothing. I'm just going to go based on my skin. I have pretty visible pores, and sometimes when something is completely total coverage, it hugs my pores and my skin so tight that it'll actually show the pores, show my fine lines. So I'm going to use this little sample I have of MAC's Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Base in Radiant Yellow. This is going to prime my skin. It's going to go after my moisturizer but before my foundation. Today for moisturizer I used my Age Perfect Golden Balm from L'Oreal, just to be kind of within the L'Oreal family. I really like this stuff. It's pretty thick and emollient, and it's a bit tacky, so I feel like it gives it a good surface for the foundation to kind of really stick into. But that's just, you know, my opinion. If you're extremely oily, like I said, use an oil control, pore control primer, or maybe even skip it completely and just use the foundation by itself and then go in with a really good setting powder. So yeah, another thing I wanted to say too, with this particular foundation, it has a really nice range of colors. So props to you, L'Oreal, for covering us, you know, fair girls to alabaster, white girls to, hey girlfriend, dark and dark. I think that it's a beautiful thing. I think more foundations should cover a broad range of colors and undertones. But with that being said, the coverage as far as the color goes is really awesome. Some of the undertones with these are not as good as your True Match. If you're familiar with L'Oreal True Match, there's a lot more undertones. What's the word? I don't want to even say favoritism, but like they just cover a really broad spectrum with the True Match line versus this line. Everything seems to be like a beige, which I hate that word because I feel like no one is really a true beige. When I think of beige, I think of like pinky, browny, ugh, you know, and I have a lot of red and pink in my skin, but I have a yellow undertone if you look at my neck and my chest. So beige to me thinks like ashy, chalky, yucky. So I had to kind of play around, and the little clerk in the Walgreens or whatever was like seriously hunting me down because I was like opening them all. But honestly, I don't care because it's my money. I don't want to leave disappointed. I chose the color Nude Beige. It's a little bit light, and I will say when it oxidizes this foundation, it can kind of, you know, turn a little bit just from judging by trying it on in the store and stuff like that. So try it on. Don't be afraid. Let the guy or the girl look at you funny. Do your research on the color line. Go to the True Match line because they do teach you a lot about the different colors in the L'Oreal family. And judging by that, you can find out if you are a warm undertone or a cool undertone, or if you're a little bit of both in the middle. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm doing is using my MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Primer, and this is in Yellow Radiance. This is going to help my foundation and cream products adhere to my face. Next, I'm going in with my Master Camo palette from Maybelline Cosmetics using the green color. This is going to help tone down any kind of redness that I have in my skin. Now I'm going to use a beauty blender and make sure that I really buff and blend this out so that it's really seamless. When you apply your foundation on top, you want your any kind of color correction or concealers to be completely seamless. This way the foundation sits really nicely on top of it. The next thing I'm going to do is go in using the yellow color in that same Master Camo palette. This is going to help bring up any darkness that I have in my skin. So this is great for under eyes, eyelids, anywhere that you have kind of bluish, grayish discoloration. Yellow will help to brighten and blend out the colors, so this way it won't show through your foundation that you have darkness in your skin. Next, I'm going to go in and start applying the foundation on top. I'm using an angled flat brush from Nyx Cosmetics and just slowly dragging this down my face and trying to apply it all over. Now I'm going to go in with a beauty blender. Okay guys, so now we're going to move to real time, no voiceover. I've applied the L'Oreal foundation with my Nyx Cosmetics angled brush, and I'm buffing it in now with a beauty blender because I like to kind of really press it and buff it into the skin. I feel like it smooths it out, it gives it a really nice natural coverage, and it allows me to kind of see, you know, what's going to happen with the foundation. So far, I'm going to look into a mirror, guys. It's extremely airlight. So when they said, you know, it's going to have a weightless feel, it definitely feels very thin, very weightless, fluffy. When it comes out of the tube, I have to say, I dislike the style of this tube. I think it would have worked better in a pump. It's a very thick foundation when it comes out. It reminds me a lot of the Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse foundations because it has that same kind of a feel to it. Oops, sorry. But it just comes out very kind of thick and almost kind of gritty, but it doesn't go on the skin gritty, but it just feels a little thick and it's hard to squeeze. You have to give it a pretty good squeeze out of this tube. But, you know, so far, like I said, it feels really light. It definitely did cover quite a bit. It almost kind of seems to be finishing to like a powdery finish. That's my son, and that can go either way for me. Sometimes the powdery finish is great because it feels like it's locked in and set, but sometimes for me it can dry out around my nose and my chin and start to separate, and that's a lot of what I read in reviews about this. So let's keep working with it, building it. I'm gonna set this with powder and also start going into my concealer and my highlighting, contouring, and we're gonna see where it goes from here. Let's see how it builds and how it starts to oxidize and set on my skin. But generally, once I kind of buff it out, I make sure everything looks good and where I want it to be. And then I kind of just let my skin breathe for a few minutes. And then, sorry, I'm on my phone, so I get weird calls. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm just going to let my skin breathe and just kind of suck in the foundation, see how it adjusts to my skin, and then start doing the powder and all of that good stuff. So stay with me, guys. Okay, guys, so I have given it a few minutes to settle in, and I definitely see what people are saying. If you go really close like this, you can see the kind of powdery feeling to it and the dryness of this foundation. Unlike, say, your Kat Von D Lock-It foundation or Urban Decay's All Nighter or Clinique's Beyond Perfecting, they dry a little bit more wet and they hug the skin really well. This kind of dries into a powder formation. So I'm going to take a beauty blender and my Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation. It looks like this. It's loose foundation. This is designed to be a full coverage powder foundation. Personally, I don't think it's a full coverage, but I feel like if I use a beauty blender that's dampened, it'll probably break it up and make it even less, you know, full coverage. But I'm gonna try setting this foundation, even though it's already a little powdery. The Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation, I feel like it has a little bit more color and pigment than the liquid L'Oreal. And I also feel like even though it's a powder, it kind of has a little bit of like a creamy finish. I don't know, just my opinion. I guess if you're dry, you might not think so, but because I'm more combination to somewhat oily, I feel like it works with the oils in my skin, this powder, and it just kind of doesn't dry so harsh and so dry and matte. So I'm gonna try to kind of blend this in. Again, we're in real time now, no voiceover here. So I want you guys to kind of, you know, go through this and experience it with me. But I'm just kind of gently pressing and rolling my beauty blender with this powder foundation to kind of set this. And then I'm gonna go in and start doing my concealer, because you've seen me kind of do that already with my, I'm gonna use my MAC Prolongwear concealer. But I'm blending into my neck too, because I felt like the nude beige color was pretty good. It's pretty close, but you can see it's a little light. So we'll see how it goes. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel yet. I think what I'm gonna probably end up doing is checking back in with you guys once my face is set the way I want it to look, and just kind of periodically checking in throughout the day to see how it wears, so you guys can really get an accurate idea of the wear, if it stays in place, and all that jazz. So okay, let's get back into concealer. You're gonna hear me kind of talk over again, and I'm just gonna go through the rest of my routine with you guys and see where we go. All right, stay tuned. Okay guys, so now I'm going in with my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'm really going to over exaggerate this to give it a nice bright look, since I want to go with a much more contoured and highlighted look today. I'm blending it in with my beauty blender like always, really making sure I press and roll so that you can't see any harsh lines. And I like to highlight on my chin area, all the way down to the tops of my cheekbone, my forehead. I mean, really, it's up to you how much you want to highlight, but I just want to really have a nice defined look today. And the next thing I'm going to do is go in with my Bye Bye Pores translucent powder from It Cosmetics, and this is called baking. We're going to roll and press translucent powder anywhere we applied our highlight. And this is going to stay on our face while we work on our eyes and work with the heat of our skin to help lock our concealer and our foundation in place. Next, I'm going to go into my Sculpted face palette from It Cosmetics, and working right into the hollow of my cheekbone, I'm going to start placing this contour powder, which is generally a darker powder, and it's going to go right into the hollows of my cheeks. If you can't find your cheekbone, just suck it in and you'll find it. It's that hollow space. Now we're going to go into that hollow space between our neck and our jaw. And lastly, contour out the nose. I'm also going to contour right in the crease of my eye, so it sets a really nice base for my eyeshadows. This is going to define my eyes, make them appear larger, and also define the lids of my eyes as well. Okay guys, so now that the majority of my face is contoured out, it looks a little crazy, but I am going to start blending it. First things first, I want to go in and start doing my eye makeup. So now is the point where you guys can start doing yours as well. And when everything is completed and done, we will check back in. I'm not going to show my eyes today because this is really more about the foundation, this tutorial, but I just wanted you guys to kind of do the face routine with me. And at this point, like I said, we're going to go and do the rest of our face, eyebrows, whatever you feel like doing, and I will check back in with you guys again soon. Okay guys, so this is the completed look. I was a little skeptical because I did notice that the foundation was kind of starting to get a little bit powdery and a little bit dry, so I was you know, kind of concerned how the rest of the look was going to come out. But honestly, I think using the Tarte powder definitely helped to kind of just set the foundation really well. If you go really, really close, you can see that it is a bit thick. But I mean, honestly, who are we going to talk to this close, you guys? If you look at me this close, then you really shouldn't be near me, okay? But honestly, for photography and stuff, I'm sure it's going to work really well. I am going to take a flash picture and see how it looks. But this is me in just natural daylight. And along with my contouring and my concealer and everything else, I am super, super impressed. I guess the thing with this foundation is that it does take some tinkering with, and I don't want to say you need to be a pro to make it work, because I feel like anybody can, you know, do well and, you know, practice and hone their skills. So I think it's just a matter of how much time you want to put into it. This type of foundation, I think, needs a little bit more working with compared to others where you can just put it on real fast and go out the door. So if you're looking for that, I would not suggest this. I would probably go with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte or Pro Glow based on your skin type. But this is a really fun foundation, and I think for like a night out or for photography, it's gonna, you know, work and do its job basically. Is it my #1 choice for long wear full coverage foundations? As of right now, probably not, but I did say I would check in periodically throughout the day. So it is around 12:30 right now, and we will kind of just wear it and see how it goes. And I'll just kind of do little snippets to let you know throughout the day how it's going. It does claim to be up to 24-hour wear. I don't think it's gonna be, but I mean, I definitely think it'll have a nice finish to it, and I definitely think you'll get, you know, probably a good 5 to 8 hours, but let's see. Maybe it'll surprise me. I'm a huge L'Oreal fan, so I'm gonna, you know, hope and pray that this works out. So I will be back in a few hours to let you know what I think, but as of right now, pretty awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay guys, so it is now 3 o'clock. It's been probably about 2.5 to almost 3 hours with the foundation, and I have noticed a little bit of my oils kind of coming to the surface, but honestly I really like the coverage so far. Definitely feels like a total full coverage, and I really think it does a good job at blurring out imperfections, discoloration, stuff like that. So I think the trick with this was, for me anyway, a good primer and good setting powder. So let's keep going throughout the day, see how it holds up. So far, no separating or anything like that, or dry patches, but you never know because it says 24-hour wear. So we are up to 3 hours. Let's keep it moving, girls. Okay guys, so it is officially 7 o'clock. I've had the foundation on about 7 hours now, and honestly, I really like it. I don't understand why so many people were against the foundation. I mean, I do realize you need a little bit of like prep time with it and to kind of play around and figure out how it's going to work best for your skin type. But like I said, I'm more, I guess, combination skin. Sometimes in the summer I'm pretty oily, and with a good primer and a good powder to kind of set it off, it's really stayed in place for me. And like I said before, most people are not going to be this close to you looking at every pore and imperfection. So, I mean, if you're looking at it in that standpoint, I think it's a great foundation. I think it would probably work really well for photography, for a special event, for a night out with your friends. It definitely does stay put, and I did touch up around my nose because I wore glasses today, but other than that, I really didn't see a whole lot of like separating and discoloration. My oils kind of came to the surface in my forehead and my nose, which is very common. But I really do like it, and I have a flash on it right now, and it's really bright, so you can pretty much see everything right now, and I do really like it. So final verdict, I would definitely use this foundation more. I think I'm gonna kind of try wearing it for a little while, maybe a week or so, see how it works with my skin. If you're the type of girl that wants to put on makeup real quick, head out the door, have that coverage all day, I don't know if this is the foundation for you. It does take a little bit more time, like I said, a little more preparation, little layering, but if you're the type of person that wants to put in the time for it and really set it and maintain it that way, then I think it's a great foundation. If not, I would say try the L'Oreal Pro Matte and the Pro Glow. They're both really awesome foundations too. But I am pleasantly surprised. I was a little skeptical. The color is really not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It really ended up blending down to my skin. But definitely open it up. Try it on if you can. Take that risk because the packaging shows nothing like the color that actually shows up on your skin. So definitely try it on first. And for the price point and everything, I don't think you can go wrong. It is definitely full coverage. Now, as far as the 24-hour wear, I don't think it's going to be a full 24 hours because I am pretty shiny and I do feel kind of like if I was to wear it longer, I'd want to touch up at this point. But 7 hours is pretty good with no touch-ups. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please, please, please like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. You can also find me, like I said, on YouTube. You can find me, or hello, you're on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Snapchat, Facebook, and all that stuff. I'll put information down below as far as like what I'm wearing, my eyes, my eyebrows, and all that stuff. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know if you want to see any other kind of foundations for the next time. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.